My name is Rachel. If you have ever opened your home, a place you built with love and care, to someone you trusted, you might understand what happened to me. It wasn't a big, dramatic betrayal. No shouting, no affair, it was slow. Like sand slipping away, I lost the man I loved, not to another woman, but to his best friend. I never thought that one simple act of kindness could shake my whole marriage and leave me lost in the dark that followed. It all began on a cool, sunny afternoon in autumn. The leaves on the big oak tree in our front yard were turning yellow and red. The light was golden. It made our new house look warm and welcoming. I was inside, cleaning the kitchen. The smell of lemon cleaner was in the air. The doorbell rang. I was not expecting anyone. I thought it was a delivery or maybe a neighbor. I opened the door. A man was standing there. It was Kyle. He was my husband Mark's best friend from college. I had not seen him in a long time. He looked different. He looked tired. His eyes had dark circles under them. He did not seem like the confident man I remembered. He had one suitcase with him. It was old and a little dirty. He gave me a small smile. It was a smile that tried to be friendly, but it also seemed a little sad. "Hey, Rachel," he said. His voice was rough. "Just for a while, if that's okay." My heart sank a little. I was not sure why, but I smiled back. I am a person who says yes. My parents taught me to always help people. They believed that your home is a shelter. If someone needs a place to stay, you let them in. It is the right thing to do. It is what good people do. So I said, "Of course, Kyle, come in." He stepped inside. He put his suitcase down in the hallway. It felt like he was bringing more than just luggage into our home. He was bringing a whole past with him, a past that did not include me. My husband, Mark, came into the room. When he saw Kyle, his face lit up. He was so happy. He laughed and clapped Kyle on the back. They hugged like brothers. "Kyle, this is a great surprise," Mark said. He was genuinely thrilled. I stood there watching them. I felt a small knot of worry tighten in my stomach, but I ignored it. I told myself to be a good wife, a good person. We had just moved to Cleveland. We had lived in Dallas for years. Dallas was big and busy and loud. Our life there was about work. It was about building our careers. We decided to move back to Cleveland to start a family, to put down roots. We bought this house. It was a 2-story house with a blue door. We were painting the rooms. We were choosing furniture. We were building a life together. It was our project, our dream. Kyle had been a big part of our life in Dallas. He was always around. He and Mark had been through a lot together. They started a small business once. It did not work out. Now, Kyle's life was not going well. His business had failed. He told us he had a new job in Chicago, but it would not start for a few weeks. He just needed a place to stay for a little while, a soft place to land. "Of course," I said again, "we have a guest room." I went upstairs. I got the guest room ready. The room still smelled like fresh paint. I put clean sheets on the bed. They were nice sheets. We got them as a wedding gift. I put out fresh towels. I wanted him to be comfortable. I wanted to be a good host. That night, I made a nice dinner. We all sat at the table. Mark and Kyle talked and talked. They talked about people I did not know. They talked about parties from years ago. They talked about their college professors. I just listened. I smiled and nodded. I felt like an audience member at a play about their lives. This was the first night. It was a pattern that would repeat itself for a long time. The first week was okay. Kyle was very polite. He was helpful. He offered to mow the lawn. He fixed a dripping faucet in the guest bathroom. He even went to the grocery store and bought us food. "I don't want to be a burden, Ratch," he said. He started calling me Ratch. I did not ask him to. It felt too familiar. Too soon, but I told myself it was fine. He was trying to be nice. He was grateful. I thought, this is not so bad. He will be gone soon, but soon never came. After the first week, things began to change. It happened slowly. Like the tide coming in. First, it just wets your feet. Before you know it, you are in deep water. Mark started staying up late. He and Kyle would sit in the living room after I went to bed. I would lie in the dark in our bedroom. I could hear the low rumble of their voices. I could not hear the words, just the sound. It was a constant murmur. Then I would hear them laugh, a loud, sudden laugh. It was a laugh I did not hear much from Mark anymore. It was their laugh. From their past, our quiet evenings together disappeared. Before Kyle, Mark and I would watch a movie. We would read books in the same room. We would talk about our day. We would talk about our plans for the house. We would talk about maybe having a baby one day. That all stopped. Now our evenings were about Mark and Kyle. They would watch sports. They would talk about politics. They would remember old times. I would sit with them for a while, but I often felt left out, so I would go upstairs alone. The sounds of their friendship would drift up the stairs. It made our house feel different. It did not feel like my home anymore. It felt like their clubhouse. One Saturday morning, I came downstairs. I was dressed to go to the store. I walked into the kitchen. Kyle was there. He was making coffee. His back was to me. And he was wearing Mark's favorite gray sweatshirt. The one from college, the one with the faded logo. I loved that sweatshirt. It smelled like Mark. On Sunday mornings, I would wear it. It was a small, cozy thing between us. But now Kyle was wearing it. He moved around my kitchen like he owned it. He was humming. He was comfortable. He was at home. "Where is Mark?" I asked. My voice sounded strange, tight. Kyle turned around. He was holding Mark's favorite coffee mug. "Oh, he's still sleeping," Kyle said. He took a sip of coffee. "We were up late talking about the old days." The word "we" felt like a wall between me and my husband. I just nodded. I could not speak. The knot in my stomach was back. It was bigger now. That was a small thing, but small things can add up. They can become a big thing. Weeks passed, then a month, then 2 months. Kyle's few weeks became a vague idea. He always had a reason to stay. "The job in Chicago is delayed," he would say. "I'm waiting for a call from HR." The reasons changed, but the result was the same. He was still in our guest room. He became a part of our daily routine. He was there for breakfast. He was there for dinner. When we had neighbors over for the first time, Kyle answered the door. He shook their hands. He said, "Hello, I'm Kyle. I'm basically family." Mark stood next to him and laughed. He did not correct him. He just laughed. I felt something shrink inside me. My place in my own life was getting smaller. My private moments with Mark vanished. We had little jokes. We had a way of looking at each other across a room. It was a secret signal. It said, "I love you, I see you." Those looks stopped. Those jokes disappeared. They were replaced by new jokes. Jokes between Mark and Kyle. Jokes I did not understand. I was becoming a ghost in my own marriage. The worst moment came on a quiet evening. I was reading a book on the living room sofa. The doors to the back porch were open a little. I could hear Mark and Kyle outside. They were talking. Their voices were clear. "You're a lucky man," Kyle said. I could hear the clink of his beer bottle. "Rachel is so patient. Most wives would have kicked me out by now." Then I heard Mark laugh. It was an easy, relaxed laugh. "She's used to it," he said. "I've always worked long hours anyway. She doesn't mind. She's used to it." Those 3 words felt like a knife in my heart. He made my patience sound like a habit, like something boring. He did not see it as a choice I made out of love. He saw it as something he could take for granted. I had learned to live with his long hours at work. I had learned to live with his stress. I did it for him, for us, for our future. I never agreed to share my husband. I never agreed to share my home with his best friend. Those words changed everything for me. The kindness in my heart started to harden. I felt a cold anger. The breaking point came on a Friday night. I had been at my part-time job all day. I worked at a small art gallery in town. I liked the job. It got me out of the house. It was something that was just mine. I was tired. My feet hurt. I walked up to our house with the blue door. Before I even opened it, I could smell pizza and beer. I opened the door. The living room was a mess. It was a scene of chaos. There were pizza boxes on the coffee table. There were empty beer bottles. There were potato chip crumbs on the sofa. The television was on very loud. A basketball game was playing. Mark was slumped on the sofa. He was staring at the TV. He did not look up when I came in. Kyle was in my favorite chair. His feet were on the footstool. It was an antique footstool I had found and repaired myself. I loved that stool. "Hey," Mark said. His eyes were still on the game. "You're home early." Kyle grinned at me. "We're about to order some wings. You want some?" I stood there. I looked at the mess. I looked at my husband, who did not see me. I looked at Kyle, sitting in my chair with his feet on my stool. He was offering me food in my own home. As if I were the guest. Something inside me broke. The last thread of my patience snapped. I looked at Mark. My voice was quiet, but it cut through the noise of the TV. "Mark," I said, "you told me he would be here for a little while. It has been 3 months." Kyle rolled his eyes. It was a slow, disrespectful roll of his eyes. "Don't worry, Rachel," he said. His tone was confident. It was almost a sneer. "I'm not planning on staying forever," Mark sighed. He looked annoyed at me. "Why are you making this a big deal?" he asked. "He's my best friend. My best friend." He said it like that was the only answer that mattered. Like my feelings were not important. I did not say anything else. I did not cry. I turned around. I walked upstairs. I went into our bedroom. I lay down on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I listened to the sound of their game on TV. I realized in that moment that I had become invisible. My own kindness had made me disappear in my own home. The final moment came a week later. I came home from work early again. The house was very quiet. It was in strange quiet, an expecting quiet. I put my keys in the bowl by the door. I walked toward the kitchen. I stopped at the doorway. I saw them. Mark was sitting at the kitchen table. Kyle was standing. He was holding a picture frame. It was our wedding photo. It was my favorite picture. In it, Mark and I are looking at each other. We are laughing. Our foreheads are touching. We look so happy. We look like a team. Kyle was staring at that photo. He was not just looking at it, he was studying it. His face was serious. Then he spoke. His voice was low. It was meant only for Mark. "You know, you could have done better, man," Kyle said. He tapped the glass of the picture frame right over my face. "She doesn't get you, not like I do. She doesn't understand the dreams we had, the struggles. She just sees this safe life. She doesn't know the real you. And Mark, my husband, the man I loved," he said nothing. He did not stand up for me. He did not say, "That's my wife you're talking about." He did not say, "Don't say that." He just sat there. His silence was worse than any word. His silence agreed with Kyle. My heart was pounding. I could feel it in my ears. But a strange calm came over me. This was the line. He had crossed it. I had to take a stand. I walked into the kitchen. They both looked up, surprised. "Maybe I don't understand his struggles, Kyle," I said. My voice was steady. It was clear, it was strong. "But I do understand boundaries, and you have crossed yours. Your time here is over. Pack your bags. I want you to leave, now." Kyle's face went pale. Then he tried to smile. He tried to laugh. "Rachel, come on," he said. "It was a joke. Can't you take a joke?" I did not look away. I held his gaze. "It is not a joke. Pack your things now." I looked at Mark. He was staring at me. His eyes were wide. He looked shocked. He looked like he was seeing me for the first time in months. He saw the woman he had married. The woman who was strong. The woman who would not be disrespected in her own home. He saw that I was serious. Kyle saw it too. He left the room. I heard him walking upstairs. I heard drawers opening and closing. I heard the sound of his suitcase zipper. Mark and I did not speak. We just stood there in the silent kitchen. After a while, Kyle came back down. He had his suitcase. He would not look at me. I walked to the front door. I opened it. He walked out. He did not say goodbye. He did not say thank you. He just left. I closed the door. The sound of the lock clicking into place was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. Later, Mark came upstairs. He was angry. His face was red. "You embarrassed me," he said. "You did not have to do that in front of him. You made me look bad." I looked at him. I was calm. "No, Mark," I said. "You embarrassed yourself. Kyle disrespected your wife and you said nothing. I just ended the show. A real best friend would not do that. A real husband would not allow it." He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. He just stood there. He looked defeated. We did not talk that night. We slept as far apart as possible in our bed. The space between us felt like a mile. But the next morning when I woke up, the house was quiet. It was a peaceful quiet. It was my quiet. The ghost was gone. My home was mine again. It took a long time for things to get better between Mark and me. The trust was broken. It is like a plate that has been shattered. You can glue it back together, but the cracks will always be there. Mark started to try. He made small gestures. He made breakfast for me. He helped me fold the laundry. He left me little notes. They said things like, "I will be home by 6," or "I love you." I appreciated the gestures. But I was not ready to forgive him. Trust has to be earned. It happens slowly, day by day. Months went by. One morning we were having coffee. The sun was coming through the kitchen window. It was quiet. It was peaceful. Mark looked at me. His eyes were sincere. "You were right, Rachel," he said. "I was wrong. I let him cross a line. I should have protected you. I should have protected our home. I am so sorry." He did not make excuses. He took the blame. I could see he meant it. I felt a piece of my heart soften. I felt a little peace. I reached out and held his hand. "Next time," I said, "let's keep our door open for guests, but let's keep our marriage closed for business." He smiled a little. He squeezed my hand. "Deal," he said, and for the first time in a very long time I believed him. This is my story. Sometimes the people who cause the most trouble are not strangers. They are not enemies, they are friends. They come into your life with a smile, they borrow your kindness, they forget to leave. They can come between you and the person you love. But it is okay to say no. It is okay to set rules for your own home. It is okay to protect your heart. Saying no is not mean. It is not selfish. It is a form of self-respect. It is a form of love for yourself and for your relationship. Your home is your sanctuary. Your peace is important. You must defend it. If you have ever felt this way, you are not alone. It is okay to want your life back. It is okay to take a stand. When you do, you will find your peace again. It will come back, I promise.